And welcome to the most exciting half hour on Facebook Live. It is Ignitro Live Week 2. Clint Schweitzer alongside Noah Groniger. So happy that you are with us right now. Thanks for jumping on board. We always appreciate your feedback. If you have a question, anything football related, we are doing it. Noah, it's great to be here coming off what was an absolutely epic weekend of college football, not necessarily in the way of results or on-field action, more so the totality of what occurred, which is a bunch of Americans, a bunch of freedom-loving Americans packing stadiums, the passion, the traditions of college football. There's nothing like it, Noah, and we saw it in full force this weekend in places like Madison, Wisconsin, all over the place. In Charlotte, North Carolina, you saw the epic showdown between Georgia and Clemson, the slugfest, over 70,000 in attendance. Attendance is up. People are ready to be out there and support their schools. There is no more important link in sports between fan and team than college football. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. And we missed that last season. The fans being in the stadium, the raucous atmospheres. We saw it this past weekend. You mentioned some of them, but I got to talk about Mississippi State. We got to hear those cowbells back in there, a full stadium, everybody with a cowbell in hand, making that sound. It was great to hear because when we were back in 2018 filming our documentary, our SEC football documentary, Saturday Supremacy, which should be coming out, I think next summer, we're going to plan 2022. Although it was planned for this summer, things got a little hectic. We're starting all these live videos, so we're going to push the film back a little bit so we can bring you this great show as well as all the others.
Top Gun 2's been pushed back 2 years already, so we're good.
Exactly. We're right on schedule with the mainstream, so everything's good here. Man, it's great to see Alabama. Are we ready to crown them? Is a parade in order, in store here?
I don't know, maybe a trip to the White House. I think Alabama, with what you saw, I had a conversation with a friend of mine last week that said, this Miami team, they've got athletes on this team. This is a team that's going to be able to stay with Alabama. Look what they lost. They lost their quarterback, Mac Jones, to the first round of the NFL draft. They lost their two receivers in Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle to the NFL draft. They lost the best offensive lineman they've ever had. And guess what? They picked right up. And why wouldn't they? This is what Alabama's done under Nick Saban since he took over in 2007. You know about the 6 national championships. Alabama football is the gold standard in all of sports right now. And to see them pick right up with Bryce Young at quarterback, the NIL champion, so to speak, he claims to have made over $1 million, son, off of name, image, and likeness. And he earned it on the field because Alabama is still the driving force in college football. We saw Georgia with an impressive win against Clemson in a slugfest. But I think that the collision course all leads to Atlanta, Alabama, and Georgia. And I think that right now you can already crown the Alabama Crimson Tide. After what I saw there, I don't see anyone beating them. Although I don't know how anyone scores a touchdown on that Georgia front seven, man. Incredible.
Yeah, Clemson couldn't get it going on the ground at all. I mean, DJ Uiagalelei was just kind of lost out there. He looked like a young quarterback who hasn't had many games started under his belt. But man, Alabama, I just got to go back to them. Georgia, it's a nice story. JT Daniels wasn't it very impressive. Clemson still has a good defense. They're going to have to figure that out. But man, Alabama with Jamison Williams, the transfer of Ohio State, with 126 yards receiving, John Mechie 76 yards. They still have weapons. All they do is reload year in, year out. So I think you can crown them because Ohio State, well, they're looking good. They're just not quite as impressive. They're not up to the level of Alabama. Clemson's taken a step back. Could you look at Oregon? North Carolina, people had some high hopes for. They lose to Virginia Tech. This looks like it's Alabama's just championship to go out and take.
What about Oklahoma? Everybody talked about them as Spencer Rattler being the Heisman hopeful that he is, and they talked about Oklahoma being a team that this is their year to win the national championship. Everybody has them in their college football playoff just because they play in the Big 12 for now. Yet they go out and almost lose to Tulane. The Tulane Green Wave come back and almost beat Oklahoma in the first game. And so the Big 12 almost broke its own record by going out of the college football playoff 3 hours into the season, as opposed to the 2 weeks that it will actually take. And I do not think Oklahoma is the team that people think they are. I really don't. I don't believe in the Big 12. Maybe when they join the SEC, you can put that banner on them. Right now, no. But I want to talk a little bit about the Missouri Tigers, a team that we talked about last week, a team we cover on a daily basis. We are in all the Zoom meetings and with Eli Drinkwitz at the game on Saturday, and what was a solid, if not unspectacular, crowd of 46,000. and they were met with a solid, if not unspectacular, performance by the Tigers. The problem is this is a no-win situation. Missouri's playing a team that's absolutely legitimate. Jacob Sermon, the transfer quarterback from Washington, they were able to run the ball. Their transfer receiver, Pimpleton from Virginia Tech, gave Missouri fits. Yet Missouri wins 34-24. Didn't really have to sweat it out in the end. So I guess it's a business-like victory for the Missouri Tigers. Next week, you're going to learn all that you need to know about Missouri, because I believe it is the defining game of Missouri's season. Not against Florida, not against A&M, not against Georgia. To me, Missouri's season is defined by what happens against Kentucky, a team and Will Levis that seems to have a quarterback figured out for the first time. This is not, Terry Wilson out there as a receiver. 367 yards, 4 touchdowns last week in a win over Louisiana Monroe. Kentucky looks like they could be the real deal if this quarterback is legitimate.
Absolutely. This is going to be a big test for Missouri. It's kind of good that they went against the Central Michigan, who they couldn't look past. So I think they got kind of that preseason game under their belt, that they're going to be ready for this Kentucky team to roll around, to come through here. But man, Connor Bazelak, he just it wasn't a great game from him. A little under 66% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no big mistakes. Tyler Beatty, it looks like he's just ready to explode onto the scene. 203 rush yards, 40 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. You even got a nice touchdown from Elijah Young out of the backfield around the right edge there, around that Central Michigan defense. So this is going to be it for Missouri. If they can beat this Kentucky team, then maybe they can hit that 8-4 mark that we predicted last week.
Yeah, my expectations haven't changed a whole lot. I had 8-4. I think 7-5. Not trying to freak out, not trying to, put a downer on this victory, but maybe because of the fact that Connor Bazelak seems to still lack confidence in his downfield passing game, and the fact that the defense really had a tough go of it early on, dealing with the Central Michigan quarterback and certainly the playmakers on that team. So we'll
9
see.
sacks and 2 interceptions out of that Missouri defense. They're going to have to get steady against the run as well as in the secondary a little bit, but you like to see the pressure and the ball hawking skills from Evans and Carley's there with the 2 interceptions.
Well, we look ahead here as college football is now off and running, and I guess you could call it technically week 3. Of course, college football had its week 0 already, but coming up here, not a ton, nothing that really jumps off the page. I think non-conference wise, Arkansas has got to travel to Texas. The Longhorns were really impressive to me in their week 1 win over Louisiana. Our good friend Tim Brando on the call in that game. Texas gets the big win. Arkansas has got to go there after struggling in the first half against Rice. New quarterback KJ Jefferson trying to kind of be that steadying force for the Razorbacks, and they've got to go to Texas. And I think this is a Texas Longhorn party, horns up. I think Arkansas is in some real trouble this weekend. Anything else jump out at you? Because, we got Oregon, Ohio State. I don't think the Ducks have what it takes to really stay in that game. And I don't know. The game of the week might wind up being Kansas at Coastal Carolina. Take that back. Coastal's favored by 25, and my friend, they're going to cover.
Oh, absolutely. If you're a betting man, definitely take the cover there for Coastal Carolina. But man, looking at this Oregon-Ohio State game, I mean, you really start to look at Ohio State. Are they for real? Can they challenge? I know they had kind of a squeaker win last week. Can they come out and can they be that force in the Big Ten and in the nation to challenge the likes of an Alabama or a Georgia, whoever makes it through the SEC when they do get to the championship game? I'm looking at that Ohio State team and wanting to see big things out of them.
Well, guys, we have so much planned this football season. We thank you for joining us on our Tuesday night Ignitro Live, which is a chance for kind of us to set the scene for what we have coming up, maybe throw on some snippets of some interviews that we have, and we're going to be doing that here in just a little bit as we're going to be previewing Chiefs Browns, and we're going to be talking to, yes, none other than former Chiefs coach Dick Vermeil, as well as Dwayne Rudd, who's going to be joining us as well, former Browns linebacker. You might remember him from the 2002 helmet throw game. Dwayne Rudd thinks he has the sack on Trent Green. The game is over. Only Trent Green gets the ball off to John Tate, who lumbers 25 yards downfield. There's a penalty on the play. The Chiefs kick a field goal as time expires, creating one of the most memorable and really, as Dan Dierdorf called it, what a gaffe for Dwayne Rudd. But he is going to man up and come on and talk about it with us. And this is a preview of our Kingdom Kickoff show, Noah, that we will be doing each week before every Chiefs game. We're going to be previewing the game. You can come on us with us here on Facebook Live, and Rich Baldinger is our other co-host on that show. So we got us 3, and then we're going to be bringing on some great guests here.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that pregame show. You mentioned it, Rich Baldinger. He did the pregame shows for the Chiefs on KCTV5 for years and years. And now he's here with us at Starcade Media doing the pregame before every Chiefs game. So we're looking forward to that. And yeah, this interview, the snippet we have today is just a couple questions to Dick Vermeil about Patrick Mahomes. And then Rich Baldinger asked Dick about what if Tyreek Hill was on the greatest show of turf with the Rams, where would he have fit in with the Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Azahir Hakeem, Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner team? Where would he have fit in that lineup? Which receiver would have sat to get Tyreek Hill in the lineup?
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, let's head to that interview. Check it out. Enjoy Dick Vermeil and Dwayne Rudd. Coach, got to ask you about Patrick Mahomes. You coached some great ones, whether it be Jaworski, whether it be Kurt Warner, Trent Green here in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes coming in now to his fourth season. He's been the NFL MVP, a Super Bowl MVP. You're a quarterback guru of sorts. Is there still a ceiling for Patrick Mahomes? How does he get better? Kind of what have you seen as he's progressed through his first three seasons here?
Well, I think he gets better as the offensive line improves and he takes advantage of his confidence gain in a good offensive line and starts feeling I can stay in here a little longer, because Andy Reid's pass offense pattern development, there's a great sequence to it, but it takes time. And, with the offensive line being beat up like it was last year, he was getting out of there sometimes premature. And I believe if he can develop some real confidence in the offensive line this year and stays with it a little longer, he can go to another level. It's that last level he has to go is a tough one. It's just, you asked me about my three quarterbacks, one MVP, NFC player, Jaworski, most valuable player in the league in Kurt, and two-time All-Pro in Trent Green. Mahomes has all their best attributes in one body. You just don't see those kind of things in one person. He has, Kurt Warner's accuracy, his bright and alert and awareness of how to execute a pattern and go through progression like Trent Green, and he has Ron Jaworski's toughness, and those kinds of things. The only weakness he could ever have is, number one, ego get in the way, which I doubt will ever happen. And number two, not a good enough support staff to allow him to display what he has.
I wanted to ask you a little bit, Coach, about Patrick Mahomes in 2018, the 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, MVP. And we've seen the numbers tail off a little bit since then, but just the knowledge and the game managing of the offense and the team. When we had those 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, the defense was on the field quickly and a lot and giving up some big plays and tiring out as the game went on. Now we're seeing him manage the game better. Kind of take us through that first year MVP season and where he is at today.
Well, I don't know if there's an easy way to take him through that experience and explain it intelligently to you. Rich knows what I'm talking about in that, you cannot substitute for experience. You've got to get it, and you gain wisdom as you play and the mistakes you make. And he's the kind of kid, I believe. And see, I have said in his quarterback meetings, I've been in the offensive team meetings, I've been in Andy Reid's meetings with him and sat there and listened to the quarterbacks and the quarterback coach and the head coach and the offensive coordinator, the day before a game. And I think he's in a constant state of trying to get better, both mentally and physically and emotionally, and I think I was worried about that. Sometimes he would get too anxious and he'd get so confident he'd make the wild throw because there isn't anything he can't throw. But I think the year with the 50 touchdowns, first off, I don't think he could do that in any other program other than Andy Reid's program. He has so many years of coaching his scheme and going through last year's evaluation process of his offense and eliminate what he doesn't like, improve what wasn't quite good enough, and hang on to the excellent and add to it. Plus, he studies everybody else's offense. And when you have a quarterback that has no limitation, it's amazing what you can do. But the combination, that 50 touchdowns, of course, we know it's never been done before. Okay, it had never been done before. But I would not be surprised that he could go beyond that.
Coach, you had the greatest show on turf in St. Louis. Where would Tyreek Hill fit in that program?
Woo.
He would be right with him. You know, of course, he's a slightly faster than all four of the receivers, slightly faster. But you know, Mike Martz ran the offense with Al Saunders and Jim Hannafin, and that they did an absolute beautiful coaching job. And we had an outstanding offensive line headed up by Orlando Pace, you know, and Adam Timmerman, and these guys. You know, God, I don't know. He would be in there, no question. I don't know which of the three receivers he would replace. Probably Oz Hakeem in the slot, maybe. And Oz was his own spectacular type of player, both as a returner and a receiver. And then we had sure-handed Ricky Prohl as a fourth receiver. But those two outside guys, you know, Isaac's already in the Hall of Fame. Torrey Holt's been in the finals twice. They just didn't knock on his door. It's going to happen. And no one took any better advantage of skilled receivers, including Marshall, than Mike Martz did. You know, he just did a beautiful job.
Well, there you have it, Noah. That was wonderful. We got a little snippet for you because coming up on Kingdom Kickoff this Sunday at 11:15 Central Time, we're going to be bringing you the whole interview with Dwayne Rudd, going to get his thoughts on the helmet throw game. The last time the Chiefs opened with the Browns was in September of 2002, 19 years ago. The Chiefs went on to win 41-38 in one of the most back and forth, crazy affairs you'll ever see. Of course, culminating with a Chiefs Morton Anderson field goal to win the game. And we had some really good feedback here on that interview as we had somebody as a big Rich Baldy fan, Jeff KC, huge Rich Baldy fan. Baldy is the man. I agree. He is our co-host for Kingdom Kickoff, which you will see Sunday mornings. And you saw just a little teaser of that right there. And our buddy Shane Williams says, awesome to hear from Coach Vermeil. Good stuff. Shane listening on his way home from work, as Shane always does. He always lives up to his promise, and we always appreciate him for that. And yes, it was great to catch up with Coach Vermeil, who's just doing wonderfully. He's there. You know about Vermeil Wines. I want everybody to go to the website, vermeilwines.com. They actually have a fall virtual event coming up you can sign up for, and you can check out some of the wines. They sent us some last year, Noah, and it didn't take us long to get through all three kinds. You know, there was a Chardonnay, something a little, you know, I'm not a wine guy.
There was a red wine blend in there.
Yeah, that's the one you went for. I went through the Chardonnay. So excellent to do that. They're going to be previewing the game in great detail Sunday morning. But as we kind of get into this NFL Week 1, man, we're ready. We've seen college football now go at it, and the National Football League, in my opinion, has a lot to live up to with regards to the fans. We want to see them out there. We want to see the enthusiasm. Do you believe it's going to be at an all-time level? Is it going to be at a fever pitch inside these stadiums? Are people's eyes going to be teary when the national anthem plays and they're back in a full stadium, back doing what they love? Because this is America. We love our freedoms. We love football, and we are back, my friend.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better, because the last time we were at a game was Super Bowl 55, and I was sitting next to a Marine, and I had a great time with him. Unfortunately, it was a cardboard cutout, not an actual human being. So I think people are going to be excited to get full stadiums, to get that noise back, especially in places like Arrowhead, Buffalo, Green Bay, New Orleans. I know New Orleans, Buffalo, and Kansas City are at home this first weekend. I think the NFL did that on purpose to kind of showcase the crowds and the NFL and what this is about, the experience. We've got fans back, and not just any fans. The best fans in the National Football League are back inside their home stadiums, and they're going to come and they're going to make this a raucous environment for everybody. So I can't wait for this week 1. We've got Chiefs Browns coming up. We're going to get into that definitely on our pregame show. You heard a little bit there from Dick Vermeil, Rich Baldinger, talking about the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes this season, what we can expect. And we just cannot wait for this Sunday when it's Chiefs Browns and we get this thing started.
Well, we got to save our predictions for Chiefs Browns for Sunday's Kingdom Kickoff show. It's Tuesday. I still got to do some thinking on this one. But as we look forward to week 1, any other matchups sort of piquing your interest right now? Because I think there's a lot at stake for a lot of teams in the AFC West. And I will say, for instance, the Raiders is a game that intrigues me. Raiders playing at home against the Baltimore Ravens. And we saw Derek Carr with that lame excuse, hey, we were 2-6 last year at home because we had no fans here. Well, there's going to be fans in Las Vegas. And I'll tell you, Lamar Jackson and the, once vaunted running game of the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's going to be up to Lamar himself and now Le'Veon Bell to shore up that running game. I don't know what's going to happen. The Raiders are a team that can be dangerous at home, especially early in the season. We saw them knock off the Saints in an early season game last year. That's a game that intrigues me. And as far as that goes, there's a couple more. I think in our division, Chargers play Washington and Denver's got the Giants. I think that there's a possibility that all four teams start off 1-0 after week 1.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Raiders really can beat the Ravens there. I still like the Ravens in that game. The Chargers against Washington, of course, I'm going to go with the Chargers, and I think the Broncos will handle the Giants rather easily there with Teddy Bridgewater. He's just kind of steadying force, not too up, not too down. He's just that steady force. So, but some other matchups around the NFL week 1 that I'm looking at. The first one I have here is the Cardinals at the Titans is interesting to me. It looks fairly even when you're just quarterbacks, receivers. You got Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Christian Kirk. On the Cardinals side, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. But I think Derrick Henry is what's going to push the Titans to victory. Is the Cardinals they have a mix of Chase Edmonds and James Conner, who came over from the Steelers in their run game, and it's just lackluster at best. So I think the Cardinals are going to struggle to run the football when the Titans have all the options open to them. The next one is Steelers-Bills. Are the Bills kind of a real thing here? Going forward, is Josh Allen going to cement himself? Is he going to challenge Patrick Mahomes for best quarterback in the AFC? And then the Steelers look like a steal at running back with Najee Harris coming out of Alabama. He looks like he's ready to roll. Early in preseason, he looked like that. So it'll be interesting to see when the real bullets start flying against the Buffalo Bills, how he looks. And the last one isn't really a good matchup as far as teams. It's just kind of got an intriguing storyline for me. It's the Jets at the Panthers. This is Sam Darnold going to the Panthers from the Jets and his replacement, Zach Wilson. They're going to meet week 1, and we're going to see if Sam Darnold can get some revenge on the Jets saying goodbye, kick him out the door. We want Zach Wilson. The Panthers can have you. Is Sam Darnold going to get his revenge with the Panthers there?
Well, I got 2 more to add to that. Dolphins at Patriots. The Dolphins and Patriots, they open and close every NFL season. I don't know how this happens. I don't know who makes the schedules. Dolphins and Patriots is always on first. It's always the curtain jerker for the NFL season. And we're going to see that again. We're going to see a young Matt Jones. We're going to see a second year Tua Tagovailoa, 2 Alabama quarterbacks squaring off here in week 1. I like that. I want to see where the Patriots are. Bill Belichick going all in on the rookie quarterback. And then Packers at Saints. Jameis Winston, who had a pretty darn good preseason, looks like he can light it up with this receiving core of the New Orleans Saints. The Green Bay Packers fractured. We don't know yet. Aaron Rodgers has been an on again, off again, like the girlfriend. You just can't quite ever feel like you can trust her. Aaron Rodgers is in, out. We don't really know. He's coming into play, and I think he's going to be a Packer for one more season only. Where are the Packers in this pecking order, and especially in the NFC? For the Chiefs, keep an eye on this Green Bay team. We will see them in just a few weeks as they are our NFC opponent. They are our 17th game on the schedule. So I'm going to add 2 more to that, and I'm excited for week 1. Noah, this is tremendous. We love doing this at Nitro Live. We love when you guys come in and give us a comment. We have one there, a great one from Jeff. Bucks have a cupcake schedule. Does that mean that Noah, that maybe Jeff, that could mean that Jeff is excited for Cowboys Bucks week 1? That's our Thursday night game. So
can the Cowboys keep it close? Can they even keep it close? Guard Zach Martin's going to be out. Dak Prescott had a shoulder injury throughout preseason, didn't play in the preseason. Can the Cowboys even keep this game close against the Bucks, or is this just going to be a Bucks party, reigning Super Bowl champions? It's just a party all night long as they run over the Cowboys.
We're going to find out Thursday night, guys. The NFL season is on. We are on all football season long. Your money stays and plays with Starcade Media, Ignitro Live. We got Kingdom Kickoff and our Red Zone Report coming up on Sunday. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of Ignitro Live. Keep the comments coming. Keep the feedback on. We love it. We will always do whatever we can to get you up here, get the comments up here, give you a hello, ask us questions. We always love it, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of Ignitro Live.